Marty, I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
Did you submit my CL to TMI? Because I'm not seeing it showing up on my dashboard.
I thought that I saw that Paul had.
Okay, I can check with him?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Okay.
I wanted to call them tomorrow, and I wanted to make sure that it was moved over from here.
I'm sure I saw an email with your name on it. So.
I did too. I saw that. I was like, I definitely saw that, but it's not registered yet, and I want to make sure that I get that.
Okay, I think it takes a couple of days. You'll get actually a certificate in the mail and all kinds of nice stuff.
That's awesome.
Yes, I'm still waiting for mine in the mail.
Did yours register on TMI on the website?
Too much information?
Toastmasters International.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, well, it's 7:53. Is Aaron with us?
I don't see him yet.
William, you're crooked.
Okay.
Here he goes again.
William's upside down now. Will from Nolly.
There, you got it.
The Aaron, William.
Okay. Tricia, why don't you play Sergeant at Arms tonight?
Okay.
Okay. So,
Will, we're losing you again.
So shall I do a quick round of introductions?
no, that's my job, but just.
That's your job.
Yep.
I'm just supposed to introduce you. Okay.
Yes. Welcome, everybody, of course.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. And this is Confident Communicators. Just so you are understanding that this meeting is being recorded. If you have any problem with that, you may shut off your video, but please don't, because we would love to see you. It is my privilege to introduce our President Pro Tem of the evening, Marty Green.
Thank you, Tricia. Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Toastmasters. For fellow Toastmasters and future Toastmasters and guests, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's so exciting to have everybody here tonight on a Tuesday night here and Wednesday night in other places in the world. We're going to start out with just giving everybody a chance to introduce themselves. So I'm going to put this in gallery mode very quickly. And let's know what we're going to do is everybody's going to say their name and then say, back to you, Mr. President Pro Tem. And where your name and where you're from. Let's start with Kanan.
Hey, Kanan, I am Kanan Shankara. I am from Baltimore, Maryland. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. President.
Okay, and it's President Pro Tem just for the future. Okay. Teresa from Alabama.
Good afternoon, evening, morning, everyone. I'm Teresa, Alabama, formerly from New York, New Jersey. Back to you, Mr. Acting President.
Thank you, Teresa. Dawn.
Hi, I'm Dawn O'Sara, and I am from Columbus, Ohio, USA. Kind of chilly here. Back to you, Mr. Pro Tem President.
Thank you, Dawn. Tricia.
Hello, I'm Tricia. I live near Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Back to you, President Pro Tem Marty.
Thank you, Tricia. Tanai.
This is Tonoy. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. Back to you, Mr. President Marty.
Thank you, Tanai. Orsi. Oh, Josh. Sorry. You're on mute.
There. Yes, Josh Orsi, back to you, Mr. President Pro Tem.
Good. Thank you very much, Josh. Chris.
I'm Chris Gregory. I'm from California, originally from Quebec. Back to you, Mr. Pro Tem President.
Thank you, Chris. Magda.
Just call me M, Auckland, New Zealand. Back to you, Mr. PP. President Pretend.
Thank you, Michelle. Orsi.
Michelle Orsi from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Back to you, Mr. Pro Tem President.
Thank you, Michelle. Bethany.
Bethany from Palm Bay, Florida. Back to you, Mr. Pro Tem President.
Neighbor, up to the north, a little bit north. Deborah. You're muted, Deborah. Hold on, let's unmute you. Okay, there you go.
Deborah in Redlands, California. Back to you, Mr. President Pro Tem.
Thank you, Deborah. Neil. Your microphone is apparently not working there, buddy. We'll come back to you. Will.
Hello, everybody. Good day, good evening, good afternoon. My name is William Thomas from Hollywood. Back to you, Mr. Acting President.
Thank you, Will. Good to see more than your eyes. All right. Evie.
Hi, I'm Evie Alexander. I'm in Northport, Florida. I'm tonight's Toastmaster. Back to you, PPT.
Thank you, Evie. Janikai. Kanan. Sorry. Kanan?
Hey, that is my computer. Stand by. Hello.
We hear you.
That's my computer in case this goes off.
That's a fake person.
There we go. Okay, thank you, Kanan. Neil, you want to try again?
Neil August. Still no? Can you hear me? No?
Yes, we hear you.
Neil August, South Florida. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Neil. And Janice.
Hello, everyone. I'm Janice Law from Noe, Toronto, Canada. Back to you, Marty.
Thank you. Okay, I think we've got everybody. And I'm Marty Green. I'm your President Pro Tem tonight from Palm City, Florida. I'm going to deliver the inspiration for you tonight. I hope you find this inspiring. Last night I was introduced to the concept that we all set goals, but that goals are often made and then broken because there's nothing firm about them. They're not measurable, they're not timely. There's something that's just not that solid that doesn't make you feel committed to it. So try this. Instead of setting a goal, set a commitment. Commitment's solid. It's got a time stamp on it. It's measurable. You're much more likely, when you're committed to something, to actually follow through. So try this formula. We got a really great formula from Chris last week. Try this one. C plus E plus A equals M. And that is commitment plus energy plus action equals momentum. I hope that you find that inspiring and allows you to go ahead and make some commitments for the year coming forward. And now not without further, now we're going to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, Evie Alexander.
Thank you very much, President Pro Tem Marty. Welcome to Competitive Communicators. And can everyone please mute because there's a lot of noise.
Okay. I'm going to mute everybody.
Thank you, Marty, because there was interference. Thank you so much. Tonight is December 12th in the evening in the United States and December 13th in the morning in the Asia Pacific area. Our meeting tonight is divided into 3 parts. The first part is table topics. This is your chance to deliver a 1 to 2 minute impromptu speech. The second part are the prepared speeches. Tonight we have 3 speeches. Our final segment consists of evaluations, where we find out how well we did and what we can do to improve. Let me introduce tonight's team very quickly and have each of them explain their role and responsibilities. Our counter is Adrian. Is she here? No. Would anyone like to take the role of counter tonight? Marty? Marty offered, so yes. Marty will be the counter tonight.
Okay, so as counter, I will count all the filler words, the ahs, the the you knows, the words that you use to make transitions instead of just taking a silent pause or a breath of fresh air. So I'll be counting the ahs and the ums and all the filler words, and at the end of the night, I will report. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you, Marty. Next is grammarian. Tonight, our grammarian is William Thomas. But before I introduce William, I would like to thank you, Josh, for that detailed and enthusiastic description of the grammarian role in this month's newsletter. And if you haven't read it, check it out. William?
Mr. Acting President, fellow Toastmasters, and future Toastmasters, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. I am your grammarian. What is the job of the grammarian? Grammarian looks for the use of proper English language as not so good English language, and also give the word of the day. The word of today will be happiness. I am happy being at today's meeting with my fellow competitive communicator Toastmasters. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, William. William, you're also the body language monitor. Would you like to tell everyone about body language monitoring?
Okay, there we go. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and future Toastmasters, the job of the body language monitor is to watch for the uses of good body movement and also to watch for not so good use of body movement. I'll give you an example. Clasping of your hands, hands behind the back, hands in the pocket, and so forth. When I call upon a Toastmaster, I'll give a report. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, William. Tonight's chat monitor is Tanai. Did I say that correctly?
Perfect. Perfect.
Tanai Kumar
Yeah.
Saha. Would you like to tell us a little bit about the chat monitor role?
Sure, Madam Toastmaster. So the job of chat monitor is to monitor the chat during all segments of the meeting. And I will also note if there is any question from the guest or any other concern, and then I will report to General Evaluator. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tanai. And our timer, our Madam Timer, is Trisha Grow. Trisha, could you tell us a little bit about your role?
Yes, it's my job to keep track of time during the meeting, which I'll be called on to show you parameters at those times.
Thank you, Madam Timer. And now let's begin with our table topics segment. Please join me in welcoming tonight to our digital lectern, our table topics master, Chris Gregory.
Chris, you're muted.
Okay, over the next few minutes, I'm going to give you impromptu questions you're not really ready for. I ask you to use the word of the day, happy, happiness, or variations thereof, and you are given 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, you'll see the green card. At 1.5, you'll see the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, you'll see the red card, at which time you have 30 seconds to wrap it up. I don't have the agenda in front of me, so I have to be very careful. So just please tell me if you're the speaker. And I do have one question before I start. Is everybody aware of what mistletoe is? Yes? Okay, is there anybody that's not aware of mistletoe? Okay, that being said, red and green are the two colors most associated with Christmas. Which are the two other colors according to Christmas holiday trivia that are also extremely popular with the season? And please tell me, please tell me about how to decorate for Christmas. I'll get back to the mistletoe in a moment. Joshua. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Oh, yes, if you could. I think I heard something about say something. Oh, this is a bit close.
Yeah, I'm going to do the mistletoe in a second. This one says, red and green are the two colors most associated with Christmas. Which are the two other colors, according to Christmas holiday trivia, that are also extremely popular in this season? And tell us about how to decorate your Christmas tree.
All right, so tell us about how to decorate my Christmas tree. Well, fellow Toastmasters, that would be a rather difficult thing to do because, for one thing, I don't have a Christmas tree. I don't have my own personal one. It's my family's Christmas tree. But also, we haven't cut ours down yet. Now, you see, while most people get plastic or metal Christmas trees or get Christmas trees from a store lot, or maybe you go out and cut your own Christmas tree down on a Christmas tree farm, my family has the very good fortune of actually owning part of a Christmas tree farm. It's just a couple of 100 feet in that direction behind this wall. It's about 5 acres or maybe just 1 or 2 acres, a couple acres of Christmas trees. And over the past couple of Christmases, we've gone out and actually cut down our own Christmas tree. Or I should say my dad cuts down the Christmas tree because all of us kind of walk slowly away when it comes time to do that. And as a result, we've gotten some of the finest Christmas trees we ever have. And the way we decorate them, well, I confess we don't really pay that much attention to how we decorate them. We kind of put on the lights. That's always a very funny experience, especially the arguments over should we have white lights or colored lights or both lights. Oh my goodness, that gets going sometimes. And we also have a few boxes of ornaments, and I think it matters just so long as the ornaments aren't broken or aren't really bad looking. We just put them on the tree. There are a couple of ornaments that do have some sentimental value from places we've lived or jobs that my parents have worked at. But all in all, we're not exactly the most gourmet or Christmas connoisseur people. But Mr. Table Topics Master, in summary, we always decorate our Christmas tree with all the love and care we can muster for it, and it's always a very big part of our Christmas holiday traditions.
Thank you. Now I'll get to the mistletoe, and I think I should keep it on the West Coast because we love to keep it. William, Hollywood, are you having a major role? You disappeared on me. William, everyone is familiar with mistletoe tradition. What is the color of the berries of the plant? And while you're telling us about tell us about an experience with somebody you know if you're too shy. Something about you or someone you know.
Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters and future Toastmasters, mistletoe. Now, whenever I see mistletoe, it gives me a feeling of gratitude and want to kiss the person next to me, even if he happens to be a man. This has gotten me into a couple of problems. One, I almost got arrested one time because the person I kissed was not a friend of mine's, and I caught him by surprise. And that was one of my most favorite memories, is catching someone off guard when they don't expect what I'm going to do or what I'm going to say. Mistletoe brings a lot of favorite memories to me. Another favorite memory mistletoe brings to me is when I was 4 years old, we had a Christmas tree. We decorated it with my grandma, grandpa, and that was one of my fondest memories, just spending time with my grandparents and celebrating Christmas. Christmas is important, in my opinion. It's one of the seasons that I celebrate, and I encourage the rest of you to celebrate, because it's a very special time of the year where you get to give presents and receive presents. but Mr. Toast brings so many fond memories. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master, for giving me that question. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, thank you. And how much time do we have? We were able to have a couple more? Marty?
Yes, you're fine.
Okay. With the holiday season here, one of the things that really takes place every year, which is paramount to Christmas season, is Black Friday. And there's some horrific stories that come through Black Friday. Saeed, could you please tell me about a horrific experience on Black Friday?
I have a speech tonight.
Are you doing a speech tonight? Oh,
Yeah.
that's fine. Deborah, are you speaking? Deborah, you're on mute. Okay.
Yeah, okay, now I'm unmuted. No, I'm not. I don't have anything.
Okay, well,
you want me to? Okay.
Tell me about a horrific experience with Black Friday.
Horrific experience with. The closest I could come to that is because back in my day, it wasn't called Black Friday. We used to go to Midnight Madness. And it was mad. It was crazy because we'd have thousands, it seemed like, of parents lined up in front of a toy store. And we'd already have scoped out our toys, whatever we wanted to buy. And you had like 15 or 20 minutes to get in there and get what you needed for your kids. Being a college student, I was on welfare at the time. I had to make it good. I had to make it work. So I got in there, and sure enough, there was a lady, a couple of people decided they wanted what I wanted. My daughter wanted this doll called Mia. And so we kind of looked at each other, and the lady looked at me like, do you really want to do this? And I was like, okay, let's rumble. So we both ran over to the dolls, and we were trying to get this doll, and a salesperson comes over and she's going, wait, you guys don't have to do this. We have some more in the case over there. And we looked over there to the left, and sure enough, they had a case full of these dolls that were on display. She said, I'll get you guys one out of there. So I was able to get my daughter a doll. This lady was able to get her daughter a doll at the same time, but it almost got ugly. It almost got physical because we were both determined we were going to get that doll. And that is the only, like I said, we didn't have Black Friday. I really don't attend Black Fridays anymore because I don't want to get maimed, shot, bludgeoned, run over. Or anything, similar to that. I want to remain happy. And so in my happiness, I now avoid all the Black Friday activities. I don't care if they're giving it away for 10 cents. I just say, okay, I'll pass because it got a little too dangerous. But that's my only incident or my only occasion to have come that close. It was called Midnight Madness. It was about 30 or 40 years ago. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you. Dawn, are you speaking?
I am not.
Okay, here we go. Almost every kid wants to sit on Santa's knee and tell them what they want for Christmas. Adults are just overly-going kids. Please tell me what you've asked for Santa.
What did I ask for Santa? Thank you so much, Mr. Table Topics Master. I'm going to reveal so much to you in this answer. Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to ask for a garage door opener from Santa this year. And if you really want to know the backstory, I have gone 3 Christmases without a garage door opener. Which is much too long. 1 week is too long to go without a garage door opener, but 3 years is just ridiculous. So this year for Christmas, I am going to ask Santa and anyone else who will listen for a garage door opener. And I'm pretty sure it will be wrapped underneath the Christmas tree this year for Christmas. Yes, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Back to you, Mr. Table Topic Master.
Thank you very much. Marty?
I think we need to move on. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Back to Evie.
Evie?
Thank you.
Whoa, someone just came on.
The next part of our meeting is prepared, excuse me. Before we move on, please everyone send your vote for the best table topic speaker to our Sergeant at Arms, Aaron Leung. And please send that privately. And now we will move on to prepared speeches. We have 3 speakers tonight with delightful and inspiring speeches to share. Yes, Chris?
Do we need a timers report first to see if everyone qualified?
Tricia says they all qualify. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Tricia. Prepared speeches. Our first speaker tonight is Saeed Sulub. He is presenting project number 4 already from the Competent Communicator Manual, How to Say It. The title of his speech is What It Means to Be a Teacher. His time is 5 to 7 minutes. Saeed would like me to give you this introduction. Teachers are important figures in everyone's life. Your parents, workmates, and all those around you teach you something, although you might not be aware. Their comments and words may either help you achieve your dreams or add negativity to your life. So, what's it really mean to be a teacher? Please welcome to our digital lectern, Saeed Sulub.
Hi, good morning and good evening, everyone. Here for the Toastmasters, Mr. President, and Toastmaster of the Day, I'm happy to meet you all. There is a difference between someone who only teaches academic studies to students and someone who inspires nations. Yeah, for the Toastmasters, we all know that we live in an environment where we interact with each other. No one can claim that we live in a very closed environment. Everyone, whether you are introvert or extrovert, you will have a kind of interaction with someone. We influence others and they influence us. Teachers, in particular, are very important figures in everyone's life. And in this context, as Evie mentioned, I consider everyone a teacher. School teachers, parents are teachers for their children, and those who work are they are teachers for their fellow friends. So there are 2 different kinds of teachers. Teachers who inspire, teachers who encourage, teachers who can lift someone from the slums of life and who transform them from a failed person to a successful person. Teachers who can give meaning to what it means to be a teacher. And on the other side, we have teachers who let others down and bring them down all the time, feel them or make them feel bad about themselves. Although I'm not only, majority of school teachers are actually positive people, but I'm talking in general. A friend of mine once told me that he had a student with them in their primary school who was a very brilliant student and very smart student. That student dropped out of school because of a teacher. He was not that guy who is very good in answering questions. He used to answer questions, but he was very brilliant in answering exams at the final exam, but he was not like feeling conscious when he's in the class. So one day that teacher asked him a question and the student didn't know the answer. But the reaction of the teacher was totally very bad. He told him, "You are good at nothing. You better go to your mom's house. And I don't think that you can continue your studies to high school." That student dropped out of college. And even worse, he started believing that he can't do anything. And he's now nothing. My friend told me that he dreamed about becoming a doctor. Who destroyed his dream of becoming a doctor? A teacher. Who made him feel bad about himself? Who created such negative thoughts in him? A teacher. Although I don't call that kind of people teachers. They are not actually teachers. But from the other side, we have positive people and positive teachers in life who encourage and inspire. People who know what it means to be a teacher. It means to be kind to your students. It means to be compassionate. It means to feel them and to make them see the talent and their talent within them, and to make them feel what they have passion in. I had experience when I was doing my undergraduate degree. I had a teacher whose name is Ilham, which literally means inspiration. Her name is inspiration, but Ilham, it means in Arabic language, inspiration. So that teacher used to ask questions randomly to students. And me too, I was not good at answering questions in the class. Well, I was best academically in the class, but I was like, I didn't like to answer questions. So that teacher one day asked a question to students. And everyone was expecting me to answer the question, although it was a little bit difficult, but I was sure that I knew the right answer. But I didn't answer the question because I was looking for someone to answer the question first, and then I would answer if there is no one. So at the end, the teacher offered 2 marks. She would give 2 marks in the final exam to anyone who answers the question. So then I raised up my hand and I say I answered the question properly. The teacher that day gave me 2 marks, but that was not important. The most important thing was a sentence she said, which made my life that day. She said, "Saeed, you are intelligent and you are going to be a research expert in your field." That was very inspiring sentence, which I used until now as a source of my encouragement and inspiration, that I have a kind of a dream that I'm going to be a research expert, although I'm not yet. So I think that we need such models. They are the real teachers and they know what it means to be a teacher. And we are all teachers, all of us. Have you ever thought about, have you encouraged someone who around you, whether your children or your friends? We all heard about the inspirational and motivational stories, and we read books. We all like those positive things, but do we apply it when we get the chance? Yeah, last week I had a friend of mine in the library. I just met him. He was deaf, and then I found out he's deaf, and I asked him this question, and he typed in his laptop his name, and then I tapped my name on his laptop just to tell him my name. And then when I was leaving, I thought it's a very good chance to encourage him, and then I left a letter for him that my cousin is blind, and she's one of the most educated persons in our family. So keep going, and I know you're doing great things in life. You'll be doing great things in life. That's exactly what I told him. I didn't know his reaction because he was not my friend. This was the first time I met him, and he was deaf. I told him that his disability should be his source of encouragement. So I think we need to apply those positive things in life to really reflect what it means to be a teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, Saeed. That was very inspirational, actually. And it makes me think about how when you help someone else shine, their glow lights you up. So thank you for that. Our next speaker tonight is Canon Sankara. He's presenting project number 2 from the Humorously Speaking Manual, Leave Them with a Smile. The title of his speech is Parenting Issues. His time is 5 to 7 minutes. Please welcome to the digital lectern, Kanan Sankara.
Can you hear me? Good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guest. During the fall of 1992, when my wife told me that she was pregnant, I was delighted. We wanted to raise our kid with the greatest care. My wife's gynecologist suggested that we should read the book Baby and Child Care by Dr. Benjamin Spock. My wife used to read that book and quiz me with so many questions. Because of that, I learned a bit about the kids. In spite of the differences in our approach, we wanted to raise our son to be the best person in the world. I was in Sydney, Australia at that time, and my wife was upset with me as we could not get any help to raise our son. In India, generally the young family would get the support of parents, parent-in-laws, brothers, sisters, uncle, aunts, and from some extended family to take care of the young mother and kid. In our case, we were on our own from the day when my son was born. My son grew very well. He refused to drink milk, but he drank Dettol, an antiseptic solution. He refused to eat bread, rice, or any healthy food that my wife made, but instead ate insects and dirt. We were worried and we went to the pediatrician many times. The pediatrician told us there is nothing wrong with our kid. His look told us that he might treat us instead of our son. We moved to US when my son was 6 years old. We went to Louisville in USA. He was admitted to grade 1. He skipped 1 grade because he was given double promotion, and from grade 1 to grade 3 he went. While he was in grade 7, he asked me a question. I was shocked. He asked me, Dad, Mom, what is sex? I was angry because I thought that was a bad word for a 7th grader. He was around 12, close to 13 at that time. We immediately referred our gospel, Dr. Benjamin Spock, and he was wise. He did not speak about this subject. My wife told me that I should talk to him about sex. I told, that is not going to happen. I learned it on my own when I was 18 years old. My parents did not teach me anything. My wife told, you are a old schooler. USA is advanced. The kids know everything in US. In US, everybody knows everything. You are from India. I still not convinced. I was not ready. My wife, my son told, since we were deliberating for back and forth, my son told, since you two do not know about sex, I would rather ask my teacher. Alarmed with this statement, my wife commanded me to talk to my son about sex. I do not know how it works in your culture. In Indian culture, the spouse and I, generally what we do is, we write our decision in a piece of paper. If both matches, it will be my decision. If it is different, it will be my wife's. We wrote our decision, and since it did not match, it has to be, I have to listen to my wife, and then I need to talk to my son about this. I called my son. I felt very shy to talk about this delicate subject to my son at a tender age of 12. I wish I had a daughter instead of son. I slowly explained to him everything. He asked me so many questions. I wish he was 18 years old. I answered everything. After everything I told him, now you know about sex. Don't go near any girl until you are 21 years old or older. I took a lot of promises from him. Confused. I asked him,
got disconnected, I think. Evie, would you like to call the date first?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you. Go ahead, Cannon. Cannon?
Okay. I asked him, why you look confused?
Apologies for
Hello?
the slight technical delay.
Okay. I asked him why he looked so confused. He took
Cannon, you have the yellow card.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
We can.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, there was a delay. Okay, he took a piece of paper. In that, there was 2 lines. He said, this was a form from Oxford Scholarship, Young Scholarship application. In that, after name, instead of the US way of saying gender, it said sex, but it did not put male or female radio button, but it put 2 lines. He told me that you told me so many things. How I can write everything in these 2 lines? Fellow Toastmasters, I was most embarrassed at that point of moment in my life. Madam Toastmaster, I'm sorry there was a delay in the audio and it dropped off.
Thank you, Cannon. You were very funny. Very funny.
Did you get my speech?
Well, and it was right when you said confusion when you kind of disappeared. But you're back now, and thank you so much. Next, we're going to go on to our 3rd speaker tonight, Magda van Rooyen. She will be presenting project number 2, Introduction to Toastmaster Mentoring from Pathways Visionary Communication. Her time is 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose of this project is for her to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring and for her to share some aspect of a previous experience as a protege. The title of her speech is Everything is a Learning Opportunity. Please welcome to the digital lectern, Magda V, or Miss M.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Shoo, I'm so glad I'm not living in India. Toastmasters is expecting us to tell you something about our journey as a protege. I'm going to take heed to their advice, but I've got to warn you, you've got to brace yourself because my story is sort of dicey. It's starting off with a very negative spin. I don't think the big kahunas and Toastmasters International ever thought that someone is going to have a negative experience. So sit closer, almost as if we're going to gossip. Because I need to tell you about these negative things. Fortunately, I had only one mentor, and that was enough for a lifetime. My list of negatives are rather long, but I'm going to keep it to just a handful. In our first appointment, she was more than an hour late. Our second appointment, 45 minutes late. Our third appointment, I texted her and said, if you're not here, 10 past the hour, I'm leaving. She showed up a half an hour late. I am not a person who's good at waiting. I've got my own theories, you know, I've got some German blood. I'm at least a half an hour early. So I'm waiting a long time. So by the time she's showing up, I'm not in my best form, to put it mildly. Then she gossiped about everyone in the club. Magda, did you know that person over there? Yeah, it's a dry alcoholic. You see that guy over there? His child has got autism. Oh, and that lady over there. I've got to tell you, she's never preparing for any speech. So I knew full well what she's saying about me. English is my second language, and I won't say it's as bad as I is and you are and we am, but I'm sensitive about some of the issues. Sometimes I get a little bit confused, you know, about all the different tenses. So I was extremely worried what was being said behind my back. At every opportunity, she boasted how busy she's been, or how busy she are at this point in time. Oh, you know, I had to do this. I went to bed 2 o'clock and I had to do that, and it was so awful. At that very first meeting, I said to her, you're too busy to be my mentor. Oh, no, I want to do this. So I thought, well, let's wait and see. She did not keep her promises and commitments. She would say, I will get your speech back to you in 2 days' time. And after a week, when I sent an email asking very nicely, in my opinion, you know, you promised, where is it? She would come down on me like a ton of bricks because, oh, she's so busy. Everything is a learning experience. So almost like the biblical characters, I grit my loins and I decided I will hang in there because something has got to work out sooner or later. In the meantime, I've been a mentor of different people. Here in New Zealand, we're really a mixed band of people from all the different countries, pretty much like America, just in a very more condensed form. So I had to test everything that I learned and all the other things that I thought is really important in mentoring. Pathways now are requiring 4 things from a mentor. Paid up for 6 months. How sad is that? I would rather be a mentor and not so much worry about the money, but worry about the person. Complete your mentorship training. Well, that's easy to say. Be at least 6 months a mentor, or you can be longer by mutual agreement. And this is the one where I want you to take note. Get positive evaluations from your proteges. Then I was reading about the requirements of a mentor. You've got to have experience. You've got to be knowledgeable, positive and supportive, respectful and caring. I thought, yeah, I can do all of that. Not a problem. I can really say I salute my first mentor because she gave me a crash course in mentoring like nothing else. I am going to read a letter to you that I received, and because it is a personal letter that I got by way of email, I'm not going to disclose her name. Dear Magda, I can never find enough words to truly express my boundless gratitude for you. I can't describe how I felt after reading your message. My dear friend, I'm very appreciative of your time and effort. It was very thoughtful of you to write a letter to my parents. It meant a lot to me. The letter is more than I could have hoped for. Thank you so much for always caring about me. You always make me feel better about myself. Magda, I'm also delighted that you are my mentor. I'm learning a lot from you. You are such a humble, kind, and generous person. What else can I ask for? Many blessings, my dear friend. Take good care of yourself. Once again, thank you for everything. Many hugs. Now, on that note, you're going to say, oh, you are the mentor straight from heaven. You've got it all. Unfortunately, that's not the end of the story. This mentee is not speaking to me anymore because I dare to say to her, really, you know, every conversation we have, you're depreciating yourself. You know, I can see the value in you, even if you can't. There's no more communication. If a flower doesn't bloom, change the environment. I hope she's happy where she is. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Magda. Very interesting. We started with Saeed's teacher story and ended with your mentor story. Let's move on now to our voting. Vote for who you think made the best speech. Send that privately to Erin Leung, as long as everyone qualified, Madam Timer. She says yes. Everyone qualified, so send that vote to Erin. And at this time, I will turn over the digital lectern to tonight's general evaluator, Joshua Orsi. Josh was recently accepted to Messiah College in Pennsylvania, where he's going to major in journalism. He's also planning to launch a Toastmasters club on campus. Welcome, Josh.
It's true. I asked about that, and they said, what's Toastmasters? I don't know what Toastmasters is. And I said, this is the communications department. I think you need to have a club. So we'll see what happens in a year. Who knows? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the evaluation portion of the meeting. This is the best and most important portion of the meeting, even if it isn't the most fun part. There was one Toastmaster I used to know who said, if the speeches are the steak, then the evaluations are the sizzle. So let's get into that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 evaluators today. Let me just get out the schedule right here. And yes. Our 3 evaluators are Michelle Orsi, Adrian Williams, and Seth Hochman. And are any of those people here right now, actually? Yes. Actually, we do not have our second evaluator for for Mr. Sankara, do we have someone who will be willing to evaluate his speech at this moment? I know this is rather upfront, and I apologize. I probably should have said something about this earlier. However, I did not realize it at the time.
I can give it a go, Josh. This is Dawn Nocera.
All right. Thank you very much for volunteering, and kudos to you. Thank you so much. And for the sake of allowing you to prepare some notes, I will shift your evaluation to the end. So we will evaluate Mr. Sulub first, and then Magda, and then Mr. Sankara. All right. Excellent. Moving on to our first evaluator. Oh, and also if you could send me beg pardon, an introduction for yourself. If you would just private chat, that would be very nice. Our first evaluator is Michelle Orsi. She needs no introduction. I think we all know who she is, but most important of all, she's my mother. So that's the best compliment you can give her. Over to you.
Well, that's the end of my evaluation. There you go. I'm his mother. Saeed, very good. Well done. We spoke before you gave this speech earlier, and we knew that you were going to be doing your fourth speech, and a lot of that needed to concentrate on your words and your vivid pictures. You started off on giving us a topic that we all are familiar with, because every single one of us has had a teacher, good or bad, someone who has influenced us or not. That topic in itself is relatable to the entire audience, no matter where we are in the world. That was an excellent choice for a topic. You then laid out two kinds of leaders or teachers, which are leaders, that they could be inspiring, encouraging, or maybe not. And part of the speech that you were doing had to have some of the similes or comparisons and metaphors, and you did that throughout your speech. You gave a good example or maybe a not so good example for a teacher. So you definitely did what the CC manual told you to do. Excellent in that case. You spoke clearly, you had a slow pace, and you built in pauses. So that was excellent. Comparing you to the last speech where you had so much information, which was all good, but you rapidly gave it to the audience. This time you allowed us to think about the important things that you were saying. That was excellent. Your examples were vivid. I felt like you gave enough story description for each one of us to picture the people or the scenario in our minds. That was excellent. The areas that I would suggest for improvement, when you welcomed us, so that was good. However, I would suggest putting your hook first, and your hook could start, teachers make a difference, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guest. Has any teacher ever inspired you in your life? After you give us the hook, then you're saying you're welcome to the Toastmasters. That way we're already listening as you gain our attention. I could see that you were using your hands, but I could not see your hands except occasionally when they came up into the screen. I would suggest maybe step back a little further so we can see maybe from your waist or your thighs up. That way when you are using your hands in broader motions, that they're visible. That was a good thing that you were doing. However, then the screen needed to be adjusted. Watch your transition words. You had a lot of so, and then that brought you into your next point. However, just find maybe a different word or different way to bridge into your next point rather than the word so or and so. You had a use of vocal variety where you had a slower pace so we could understand you, but try and maybe give us peaks and lows in your voice. Excited, maybe speak a little bit faster when you want to tell us something, and slow up maybe when you want to make your point. You had great eye contact into the camera, so we felt connected to you as you were sharing, and you definitely, Saeed, have a passion for this, and that came across very clearly, and you left us with the challenge to be that somebody who is teaching or influencing others. You are so good. I cannot wait to hear your next one, Mr. General Evaluator.
Excellent, excellent. Or just get my Do you have your microphone muted? All right, just to get myself off the big screen there. We are going to be moving on to the evaluation of Ms. Magda's speech. Just to give Ms. Nocera some time to prepare her impromptu evaluation for Mr. Sankara. Again, thank you very much for that. Moving on to our third evaluator in this case, going back to the second, I'd like to bring up Mr. Seth Hochman from Florida to evaluate Ms. Van Ruyen's speech.
Thank you, General Evaluator Orsi, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, and especially Magda. Magda gave a very significant speech tonight. One thing that as a Toastmaster we always want to see is we want to see that passion. When somebody is into the speech, it draws us in. And I think in Magda's case, she hit the nail right on the head where this was an extremely animated speech. We could see that this speech really brought her to life. And when you are animated, when you're passionate about the speech, it's going to come across. So this was excellent, and it just drew your audience in. The eye contact was fantastic. We saw no notes were used throughout the whole time, so that was really well done. She brought about an important topic. As Toastmasters, we can all relate to. Hopefully a lot of us have either been on the side of being a mentee or a mentor. Super, super important. So this was definitely a salient topic and something that we want to know more about. We naturally have a curiosity for that. The organization was great as well. There was a definite intro, body, and then, of course, her conclusion. So everything was logically laid out. Magda, your vocal projection was fantastic. Heard you clear as a bell the whole time. This is really, really well done. And that's what you want. You want to have it where things are nice, crisp, clear, and your audience can understand every word that you're enunciating. And you really did that spot on. With all these great things that Magda did, how could she enrich her speech? What areas of improvement could there be? Well, for one thing, when you were talking about the kind of hardships you had at first, this mentee, I thought you could have summed that up a lot sooner, because that's going to kind of tie into the next thing I'm going to mention. So I think maybe if you just used about a minute to rehash the experiences you had, I think that would have been a little more apropos for what you were saying, and then you could have gone on to more of the meaning behind what happened, which was, of course, the most important part. The timing, as we saw, you got into red, and so, it sounds like you had made it time-wise, but it got very, very close, and you don't want to kind of push that bounds. So also, one of the things was, with the video, you got to watch, then make sure that the video is your camera set low enough so we can see these gestures. We can see you getting involved. We can see all of what you're trying to do, because your gestures came across as kind of hidden in a lot of ways. I would see your hand kind of rise up sometimes, but a lot of time it was just out of sight. And we have to be able to see all the body movement. That's so much part, especially on an online club, where all we know is what we see. So, in essence, those were the few things that I thought could have been enhanced in your speech. But all in all, I thought this was really well delivered. This is something that all of us can take to heart, and we look forward to more from you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, just get myself back to gallery mode there. Moving on to our second and technically third evaluator. Again, thank you so much for stepping in, and literally in the last 10 minutes, even less, Ms. Nocera. Thank you so much. Ms. Nocera has been a Toastmaster on and off since 2007. She has her Advanced Communicator Bronze Award and is working towards her Distinguished Toastmaster, which she hopes to receive by June 2018. So not even a year. Ms. Nocera, for your evaluation of Mr. Sankara.
Thank you. Hanan, I am so happy that I'm able to evaluate you because I took no notes. I was so enthralled in your speech that I have no notes. And so I had to remember what your speech was and the great points. And I could. It was miraculous because you did a great job. And I just want to commend you on the fact that you gave us humor, a piece of your culture, and something that we can all relate to. Because whether or not we have our own children, I would love to have somebody mute themselves because I'm getting a lot of feedback. That was great. Back to me. Kanan, you gave us humor, your culture, and something that we could all relate to, which was parenting. And like I said, whether or not we have personally have our own children, which I have 3, so I totally got this speech, or whether we've been a parent and have had this situation happen, or been a child and have had something similar happen with us. So we could all relate to it. So I was thrilled by your speech. I personally have to say that you are one funny man. You are really funny. And I found myself smiling and laughing. My teeth, I felt like I had maybe need a massage afterwards because I was grinning so much. I just enjoyed it. One of my favorite things about being a part of Toastmasters is that it does bring people together from all over the world. And being in an online club, we get to see people from all different cultures, and you let us into your world in a way that was humorous, hilarious, and meaningful. I could feel what is meaningful to you and your culture, and I know how important it is for new mamas to have people there supporting them and commending your wife for doing that on her own. From that culture, for me, I'm like, send them all away, right? But it's a cultural thing. I learned that again, and I learned how important that was for you, your family. I learned about your son, and the story was so funny, and I wasn't prepared. Even though I should have been a simple ending, I wasn't prepared for check the box, sex, right? Male or female. So you got me. I'm very happy with that. The only thing I'd say as far as improvement is that the technical pieces was hard to follow you. I really wanted to get this speech. I wanted to hear it all without any technical, interruptions. And I think you tried to overcome that by having 2 videos. I think over time, you may end up getting on with somebody else who might have some other creative ideas. And for me, I think that's one of your biggest places to improve, is just getting this technical thing together. Your video, you did great on video. I love that you used your hands, you stood up. I'm standing up because I'm celebrating that you did it. And it just really was a great speech. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed how you engaged us. You came into the camera, you came back out, you used your hand gestures. You were just right on. So thank you very much, Kanan, and I appreciate it. And thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you so much again for doing that on such short notice. I mean, you were quite brave and also quite talented at it. Now, I'd like you all to send your vote for Best Evaluator to our Sergeant-at-Arms, Mr. Leung. And moving on now to the technical part of the evaluations. I believe our counter is Mr. Green. Is that correct?
Sorry, did everyone qualify for counter for evaluator?
Excellent question, Mr. Gregory. Mrs. Grow, did everyone qualify, or? could you?
I'll be making a report at the end, but there was one that was over.
All right. Thank you. So, Mr. Green, are you our counter?
I am.
Excellent. If you just go ahead with your report.
Absolutely. It is very impressive to see how clean our speech is really getting, particularly for the new members. Really, really impressive. I'll just give you a couple of rundowns and make this quick. Deborah, you had a couple of you-knows, a couple of likes and an ah. Dawn, you had one ah that I heard. Evie, you were clean. Syed, you had a couple of ahs and, as was mentioned during your evaluation, a couple of so's. And everything else, really, I heard very cleanly. There was very little use of the word ah, which is pretty impressive. That there was less ahs and fewer filler words than you'd hear on the average half hour of watching any news show. So congratulations. Good, great job. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And thank you for taking that up again on such short notice. Moving on to our timer report, I'd like to bring up Mrs. Groh.
Thank you, Joshua. Tonight, for our prepared speakers, Saeed, you spoke for 6 minutes, 54 seconds. Kanan, 7 minutes and 17 seconds. I did pause during your technical issues. Magda, 7 minutes and 20 seconds. For our table topics, Joshua spoke for 2 minutes, 6 seconds. William, 1 minute and 43 seconds. Deborah, 2 minutes and 21 seconds. And Dawn, 56 seconds. They all qualified. For our evaluation portion, Michelle, you spoke for 3 minutes and 29 seconds. Seth for 3 minutes and 2 seconds, and Dawn, you're a little bit over 3 minutes. My pen gave out, but it was over 3 minutes. I don't remember what it was, but it was slightly over our 3 minutes and 30 seconds that we normally have 30 seconds to wrap up. So you're just slightly over that. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now moving on to our grammarian. Mr. Thomas, I believe you took that role. And he's here. All right, well.
Missing person reported.
Well. All right. One moment.
Let it all out, Joss. We're laughing with you.
No, we are very supportive. It's fine.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Mr. Thomas, if you're there, if you could give the grammarian.
Long story short, we remain unbeef.
Oh, okay, I think he dozed off.
There is one person who hears everything.
Hey, Captain Holt, Terry, Charles. I want to say Alan.
It's Joshua backup plan.
All right. This is. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Well, you can't laugh too much. If someone, I mean, I confess I was going to be the grammarian initially, but I confess that I did not have my grammarian ears on. And what do you know? I wrote the article on how to grammarian in this month's newsletter. So if anyone were taking notes on grammatical issues, then I advise you to speak up now. But given we're already over time, I'm afraid we'll just have to drop it. In this case, I have completed everything it says to do for General Evaluator, with the exception of grammarian. So I'd like to hand it back over to our Toastmaster, Ms. Alexander.
Thank you very much, Josh. You did a wonderful job. Let's have our chat monitor, who is chat monitor tonight. Please tell us
Yeah.
about the chat.
So yeah, I'm very happy to be here today. All the speeches was great, and like chat went very smoothly. Like as you know from the last meeting that Paul asked everybody to do less chat during the speeches. So we saw less chat. That's all. So other than that, all the chats were very smoothly. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tanai. And now Aaron can give us the video monitor report.
Fellow Toastmasters, most distinguished guests, I am the evil center in the frame, and I'm actually hunting you guys down for the video chats. So, based on the video in the gallery mode, actually there are different improvements whereby you can coordinate the screen to be your spotlight. So let's see. The first person I would like to talk about is Martin. Martin actually positioned himself really well in the great lighting posture, but most of the time in his speech, because he's very, very busy, he keeps looking down. So we cannot maintain the great eye contact between Marty and I. I was looking for a nice touch on that, but I couldn't see his eyes. So that will be an improvement whereby we actually look at the screen more often to keep in contact, unlike my hat that's covering me. So next we have Trisha. Trisha actually is in a very nice position, a nice contrast of ratio to 7:3, whereby 3 is actually the bottom, whereby the hand gestures. So I would like to encourage Trisha to actually raise a bit lower so that we can see your body gestures, but actually your hands. So I only can see up to your shoulder level. So it would be great to actually lower it slightly a bit so that we can know at least what dress you're wearing. The next part we are thinking about would be Joshua. Joshua in a very light contrast along with Michelle. I would love to have Michelle in the place of Joshua's position because he can look at all the galleries, look at all the portraits at the back. That's so brilliant, and there's like lots of certificates, right? And look at Michelle's background. There's only a flag. So I mean, like sometimes decorations can be great to actually add the additional additions to your meeting, and it will be great to actually position yourself. Both Joshua and Michelle are actually in a great contrast of the positioning because you have nice spotlight onto them, and they are very clear. The video is not too blurry. We also have Deborah and Jerry. Jerry, I will really suggest that next time in your position of your video would be positioned in the center because at the side, we may be talking to an invisible person at the side. So it will actually have someone misconcepting that is becoming a Halloween. So in the center, we keep the eye contact in focus. So that will be the part. We also have Cannon. When he's sitting down, he actually have a very nice posture. And when he stand up, actually the whole video cam actually allows people to see it. Very great example done. We also have Evie. Evie, this is the countless times I've seen your video cam having the same issue. The light is reflecting off you. I know you're glowing with radiance, but the point is that the lighting part actually allows people to see a reflection of themselves. So it would be great to actually set the lighting to be dimmer so that I can see your picture very clearly and very nicely on that. And finally, for Neil, always great green screen at the back, nice portrait, and is really a great example of how you can distinguish your characteristics. And finally, for Chris, I noticed your dog keep on walking around, and that may cause a slight distraction. But if you like to bring a dog into the screen, we love to have that. Oh no, that's my report. I won't be commenting myself because I'm usually the gallery person. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Hey, we're over time. Let me announce tonight's winners. For Best Table Topics, it's Deborah Myers. Thank you, Deborah. Good job. Best speaker tonight was M. Magda van Rooyen. Congratulations, Magda. And our best evaluator tonight was Seth Hockman. Congratulations, Seth. Congratulations to all the speakers. All the speeches were wonderful. And thank you very much. Now I would just like to talk to our guest, Deborah. I think this was your third time. How did you like it?
Actually, I joined last week, but it's but yeah, it took a while because I had to wait for pathways to come through with the club I was in before I transitioned. But as usual, it's been great. I love it. Yeah, and I know I have to do something about these. I don't know what to do with my lighting system, but I'll get that figured out. But everyone else is just absolutely is wonderful. I just enjoy the warmth. I feel so welcome. And I just really, I'm growing a lot, even just listening to the other speakers, the feedback, the organization, the trials, the errors is all a growth pattern for me.
Thank you, Deborah. We're welcome to our group. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
How about Bethany? Bethany, can you unmute yourself and tell us what you thought of the meeting? What did you like best about it?
Yeah, I absolutely love being a part of this meeting. I've been to a couple of face-to-face meetings before. This is my first digital meeting per se, and you guys are so real. I love it. You're not hiding behind the camera. You get what you get, which is awesome, and I really appreciate that. And I also appreciate you guys dealing with my craziness. I'm gonna try to make this work, I think, but I do have 3 kids, and I'm alone at night for the most part until my husband gets home. So if I can get that worked out, I would love to join you all.
Yay! And then I think we had one more guest, Janice Law.
Hi, thank you. This is my second time joining this meeting. Thank you again, Tricia, for inviting me, letting me know about this club. I love how friendly everyone is, and I love the speeches. So I look forward to joining next meeting.
Yay! Thank you very much. And again, because we've gone over, I'm turning it back over to our president pro tem, the PPT himself, Martin Green.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fine job. It was awesome. Well, we had some really great feedback, and if you are interested in joining, we can get you the membership package, and you're there. I wanted to, a couple of comments before we move on to picking our folks for next week. First, I wanted to call attention to the fine job that Evie did on the website of actually creating a section for testimonials. She actually created the section and she got everybody to add them, and it's really impressive. Some of you responded very quickly and came up with some awesome comments about what Toastmasters mean to you and also about being part of our club. So congratulations, Evie, on gathering all that and on everybody who submitted one. Second is, again, we have a newsletter in there. Everybody take a look at that. There's 3 of them in there now, and we're looking, I guess, for the person to do it for next month. So if somebody wants to step and volunteer, you have a good standard to go by and a great template.